Jamil Rivers, and I was diagnosed with metastatic de novo hormone positive breast cancer. Initially diagnosed, I immediately thought of my children and my family. I have a beautiful family, and I was just devastated because my kids are still young, and learning that I have stage 4 breast cancer, I just immediately thought, who's going to take care of them? So my treatment protocol was 1 year of IV chemotherapy, surgically removing my ovaries, and now I am on a CDK4/6 inhibitor and an aromatase inhibitor. I kind of expected it. It wasn't even something that they really highlighted. They just said, well, these are the side effects. Losing your hair is one. And they didn't really stay on it too much. And, I really, I always loved my hair. I just didn't realize how much my hair was a part of my identity until it was gone. And, I had such great, voluminous, long hair, and it was, kind of part of I just thought it was part of beauty but I didn't realize it was such a big part of my identity. So, and such a key part of what I considered beautiful about myself. So that was surprising, I think, when I lost my hair, and it kind of made me um, change my own personal concept of beauty, accepting myself, and paying attention to other things. I guess sometimes as women, we rely on the hair to kind of feel that understanding or acceptance of beauty within ourselves. And when it was gone, it was just like, this is you. and, and I really did, I still miss it sometimes when I see old pictures of myself with my hair when it was long and all of that. And, but when I was bald, I did accept, pretty well my new look, and I also got to have fun with experimenting with a lot of different wigs, so that was fun. Well, during chemotherapy, everything you can imagine was changing. So, of course, with my hormone changes and that being suppressed, my libido was different. I had gastro issues due to the side effects of the treatment, skin rashes and skin irritations, ashiness in my skin. My face took on like a sullen tone. My eyes kind of looked sunken in and things like that. And so that was, striking. So I had to really invest in skincare products and lip products, and really taking the time to really give my skin that extra attention. And yeah, but definitely a lot of side effects with treatment. So of course, hot flashes, yeah, almost everything you can think of, joint pain, and all of that. And of course, the pain associated with having cancer in your body in the first place. And so, and now that after the chemotherapy, all my tumors shrunk, but I still, just as a side effect of the drugs that I'm on, had to learn, and I definitely take advantage of integrative therapies to keep that joint pain at bay and hot flashes, and using different moisturizers so that my skin isn't dried out or susceptible to rashes or irritations and things like that. Recognize myself during chemotherapy at all. It was almost like my body had been taken over by somebody else. I didn't really recognize myself. And then as I just continued to move forward each day, it was okay. it's almost like you're being introduced to a new version of yourself. And even now, after chemotherapy, um, it's accepting who this new installment of yourself is, and not really dwelling too much on the past, but really just completely embracing um, who you're becoming on this new path you're on. Well, it was very different. Of course, being bald, not having any eyelashes, um, not feeling the best physically, having a low libido. You're just not feeling very confident and very sexy, and so that I just kind of felt like a shell of myself. And me understanding then that the beauty aspects and feeling good as best as I can during whatever treatment that I'm on is a really big part of just my wellness protocol from the get-go. So it's, seeing an issue, and if I can't accept it, figuring out ways to figure out, okay, how can I work on this so that I'm feeling more confident and, I don't have to be bogged down by this, so to speak. And so, there's always going to be a new side effect. There's always going to be something new that you have to deal with. And it's figuring out, okay, this is what I have to do for this now. Let me address this. And then you feel a little bit better. And I do think that beauty for me represents a big part of wellness. So I think definitely massage, definitely acupuncture, Epsom bath salts and Epsom baths, uh, bath bombs and essential oils, meditation, and using a lot of indulgent shea butters and oils and lotions and things like that, and really investing in some fancy schmancy skincare. And I think that really did make a difference, because most people, when I was going through chemotherapy and even now, they say that I don't really look too different than prior to my diagnosis. And when I was first diagnosed, I didn't disclose to my employer or my job that I was going through breast cancer. So that first year, nobody could seem to tell. So I really thought, it was kind of like a barometer for me to say, oh, well, if nobody can tell, I must be doing okay, So I definitely used a lot of, self-care practices like the ones that I mentioned, and saying no and just saying, you know what, I'm going to make sure that my cup is full, that I'm giving myself what I need first prior to giving out anything to anybody else. I think others see me as, so self-assured and so confident and so, got it together. I was struck by how my family, my immediate family, my mom, my dad, and my sisters, when I told them that I had stage 4 breast cancer, they really weren't too concerned. I really was so surprised by that. So I was just expecting them to kind of rally around me and like really, but what you see on TV and movies, I really thought it would step up and like really be, let's come to our house and let's really get in there and help. And it was interesting because I shared that with my therapist. That's also a big part of self-care. And she said, well, have they ever seen you vulnerable? And I said, well, I thought, well, of course they must have at some point. And I thought about it, maybe not, because I'm the oldest sister, the oldest of 3 girls. And I'm usually like that go-to person and the advice giver to my friends. And so no one thought that I would actually need that. The only person who has, who knows both sides of me is my husband, I guess, because he's seen me break down and cry. He's seen me go through, all those challenges and just questioning why and really feeling that devastation. And everybody else was just kind of like, well, you're going to be fine. You got it. And, we're not worried about you. But I do say that people should, pay attention to their strong friends and family members too. I actually was, um, you know, surprised that I was so strong. I knew generally I was a strong person, but I was shocked that when I had this diagnosis that, I said, I'm going to learn everything I need to learn. I'm going to advocate for myself. I'm going to, still take care of my kids, still take care of my family, go to work every day, do what I need to do. It was just like that mental fortitude and just saying, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. I even said that, I'm going to go through a year of chemo, even though they're saying that I don't need to stay on it that long, because I want to make sure that every single tumor just dissipates and shrinks and disappears, because I read that was possible. And I also knew that if I could get to that point of no evidence of disease, then that would give me a higher likelihood of longer survival than the median survival. And so I just, focused on those goals and said, that's what I'm going to hit. That's what I'm going to do. And I was able to do it. And then it's like, okay, once you accomplish a goal, it just makes you say, well, what else can I do? And so I think that's the one thing I've learned about this experience, is that we shouldn't doubt ourselves. We shouldn't question what we're made of, and just go for it. For me, a self-care beauty routine, I think, is so important because it's almost like a reminder that you are important to yourself and that you are prioritizing yourself, and that it gives me a sense of normalcy. So it's not just a reminder that, you know what, I matter, I'm important, I'm making sure that I'm giving that attention and nurturing that I need so that I can go ahead and give out so much of myself, but I'm making sure that I'm taken care of first. And then that, focusing on the beauty aspects also makes me feel that it's a part of just my overall wellness in general. So if I'm feeling good and I feel that I look good, it's saying, you know what, this is a crazy period. I do have a crazy illness, but at least I have a little sense of normal. Beauty for me means wellness, strength, power, and uniqueness.